Welcome back to the Kingdom Podcast. In the last episode, we talked about taking dominion over your mind, learning to master your thoughts, and to align them to take back control over your life. Today, we're taking that a step further, because once you understand your authority over your thoughts, you begin to realize something even deeper. The way you see the world determines the world you experience. Your life is filtered through your perspective, and the question I want to ask you today is, what lens are you looking through? I want you to imagine two people standing in the same storm. The same rain, the same thunder, the same chaos. One says, "This is the worst day ever." The other says, "This storm will pass, and when it does, everything will be refreshed and alive again." Same storm, different perspective. Completely different experience. That's the power of positivity. Not pretending everything's perfect, but choosing to preserve the faith instead of fear. Because perspective isn't what happens, it's how you interpret what happens. Here's a truth you might not want to hear. If you look for the bad, you'll always find it. You'll find the flaw in every opportunity, the weakness in every person, the problem in every plan. And before long, your life becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy of negativity, because your mind is trained to find the negative first. But the opposite is also true. If you look for the good, you'll find beauty in every situation. You'll see the lessons in pain, purpose in waiting, and progress in struggle. That means your perception, your focus, determines what fills your life. If you fill your mind with light, you'll walk in light. If you fix your eyes on what's wrong, you'll live blind and never see what's right. There's a principle I live by. What you focus on expands. It's both a spiritual truth and a psychological one. When you focus on gratitude, your life expands in abundance. When you focus on problems, your life expands in pressure. Whatever you magnify multiplies. That's why positivity isn't naive. It's strategic. It's saying, I'm going to magnify what's good because I want to multiply what's good. People always say, be realistic, but I believe we're called to be faithful, and faith doesn't ignore reality. It simply sees a greater one. Let's make this practical. Every day, you have a choice between two lenses. Lens number one, the negative lens. This lens sees what's missing, what's wrong, and what could go wrong. It fuels frustration and fear. And then there's lens number two, what I like to call the faithful lens. This lens sees what's working, what's growing, and what might be happening beneath the surface. It fuels peace, gratitude, and momentum. You can't always choose your circumstances, but you can always choose your lens. And here's what's wild. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at begin to change. That's not just mindset, that's vision. Now let me tell you the story of two travelers. Two travelers arrived in a small village. The first asked an old man at the gate, "What kind of people live here?" The old man replied, "Well, what kind of people lived in the town you came from?" The traveler said, "They were rude and selfish, always thinking about themselves." The old man nodded. "You'll find the same kind of people here," he said. A few hours later, another traveler visited and asked the same question. The old man gave the same reply. "What kind of people lived where you came from?" The traveler smiled and said, "They were kind and generous, always willing to help." The old man nodded again and said, "You'll find the same kind of people here." Different travelers, same town, different perspective, different experience. What you carry in your heart determines what you see in the world. So you might be thinking, how do you train your mind to see the good? Well, let me give you a few daily practices. Speak gratitude out loud. Every morning say 3 things you're grateful for. Not just in your mind, but speak them. Words anchor perspective. Reframe problems as preparation. When something goes wrong, ask, what might God be preparing me for through this? That question turns pain into purpose. Limit negativity at the source. You can't fill your spirit with poison and expect peace. Be mindful of the voices, content, and conversations you let shape your mood. Celebrate small wins. Faith grows where it's celebrated. If you only celebrate the big breakthroughs, you'll miss the daily blessings. Remember, positivity isn't pretending everything's perfect. It's focusing on what's possible, even when it isn't yet visible. This perspective doesn't deny pain. It only redefines it. It says, I may not understand what God's doing, but I trust what He's doing is something good. And that doesn't mean everything is good, but it means God can work through everything for good. When you live with that mindset, you start walking in peace, even in chaos, because you know the author of your story isn't finished writing yet. Here's what's powerful. When you shift your perspective, you don't just change your mood, you change your direction. Because negativity makes you shrink, and positivity makes you move. A renewed perspective gives you energy, and energy creates movement. Movement creates momentum, and momentum creates growth. That's why the enemy attacks your outlook, because if he can steal your perspective, he can paralyze your purpose. But the moment you decide to see differently, you begin to live differently. Let me leave you with this. You can't control what happens to you, but you can always control what happens through you. Positivity is the filter that keeps your spirit clean. It's how you keep your light shining in a dark world. And when people see your peace in chaos, your joy in struggle, your gratitude in uncertainty, they'll see what's truly in your heart. So this week, choose the lens that reflects your faith, not your fear. Look for the good, speak the good, expect the good, because if you only look for the good, you'll find God. If this message spoke to you, share it with someone who needs a perspective shift today. And remember, you're never alone. If you're ready to surround yourself with others who are walking out the same mindset, people building faith, discipline, and purpose from the inside out, join us inside the Kingdom Training Academy on School. It's where these principles become habits, and where you'll find teaching, accountability, and a community of kingdom-minded leaders growing together. You can find the link in the description below. Until next time, keep building your kingdom, keep speaking life, and keep choosing the good.